Scott, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for the fantastic introduction. My good buddy, BW, how are you?
Boom, I'm here, buddy.
Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna have possibly. I gotta clear my throat, Brad. Listen,
Please do.
everyone here.
Mute yourself first.
No. Listen, I'm telling you guys, put your seatbelt on. Okay, before we get started, just so everyone knows that nothing on this presentation is to construe a solicitation to buy any kind of registered security from anyone. Am I not sharing my screen?
Not yet.
But I thought What do I know?
Yep, you coming through good.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Anon, who spotted that. So, Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. Please do not construe anything that we say, myself, Brad, Scott, anyone that tweets, writes, or does anything from Trade Ideas, being a advisor to you. This is for educational and informational purposes only. With that said, Brad, are you ready? Are you tied into your...
I am sitting down, seatbelt on. Let's rock and roll.
Okay, look, so back when Brad and I were younger fellas, Brad, do you remember a company called iOmega?
iOmega, they were great at putting charts together, I think, if I recall correctly.
God, I think you have a terrible memory. They were a disk drive company.
Oh, the zip drive, right.
Brad is, by the way, Brad's great on the golf course. So, Brad, no day job. So you keep doing what you're doing there.
I had a zip drive.
You did? Okay, so the reason I bring up, and by the way, kids, listen, I've brought this up before, but the iOmega CEO went on the AOL message boards and started, you know what he was doing, Brad? Talking shit. Do you know what he said? My company's kicking ass, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some smart people on those message boards, magically, do you know what they proceeded to do?
Short the stock?
Have you lost your mind?
I have no idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitute the FIFA Trade Ideas coach is substituting a new player. Okay. No, they bought the stock because this is in 1996 when you were young and the iOmega CEO is talking to people on the message board of AOL talking shit about his own stock, saying how good it is. Like shit talking, like, guys, we're kicking ass. People buy the stock, it blows up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your first kind of online example of people really taking advantage of the medium that we now have where people communicate. Brad, do you remember that now? Is all the cobwebs coming across?
I'll take a 180-degree different answer to that. Thank you, please.
Okay. But why am I telling everybody here this versus diving into some math bullshit? I'm going to tell you why. Because, once again, you, ladies and gentlemen, Scott too, and Brad, and the Canadians, and the other people, you're all listening to the CEO, and here's what I'm going to tell you. How do you take advantage of your time here, for which we are grateful, Brad? You know that, right?
Absolutely.
We are very grateful for the fact that you spend your time with us. And what have we been telling you since we've started this? Number one, we have no masters. We are not funded by anybody but ourselves. We control everything. Number two, as far as we are all aware, Brad, we're still human, right?
We are very human.
Right. We also like our customers, and we want everyone to succeed. We do this thing called the win-win. You guys have seen it. We've been doing it since 2003. So here's where the stuff gets good. In 2020, we will be doing one, if not both, of the following things. We're going to go IPO and ICO. So we'll either IPO and ICO, ICO or IPO. One of those or all of them. Most likely both, Brad, is my thought process here. But here's where I'm going to tell you, Brad, and again, this is what you don't know and what nobody else knows, how our customers are actually going to get to participate in that. Do you know how, Brad?
No.
You have no idea. I know, because you don't even know about iOmega. You have no idea what I'm talking about. That's why I love these Q&As. So here
That just passed my memory threshold of time, right? Yeah.
Our subscribers at the time of our IPO, ICO, or whatever, people that use our product, that are subscribers, will be participants in that IPO, ICO. And guess what? As the clock starts, like today, and not hypothetically speaking, the longer that you are on Trade Ideas, the better for you before the IPO, ICO. That's simple. The longer you've been a customer of ours, the more potential, whatever it is, shares, tokens, however we do it, the more you will get to accumulate. We'll figure out all the math. And by the way, customers who have been with us forever, you will be rewarded for past. I mean, there's guys, Brad, with us who have been there for since 2003, by the way. All 15 years.
There's some crazy rates out there, like 35.
Hey guy, you're rich. I know who this is, and by the way, he could care less, and he would still use the original version of the software. That's how good of a trader he is. Anyways, but anybody listening here? Got the stuff coming through? Now, obviously, affiliates also will be participating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm speaking to just the basic concept so that people who are with us know that they're not just using a service. You are subscribers to the method, to the system, to our approach. And because you are, we're going to reward you for that. We are going to help you. You are helping us. We are going to help you. By the way, when we go IPO, we ain't going to use an investment banker. Yeah, no, none of those. We won't need to. That's the beauty of it. So, Scott, Brad, what you think?
I like it. I like it. Certainly we have the technology that justifies it, without a doubt.
This, of course, again, this will let our employees participate, et cetera, et cetera. But we believe. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me then go right back. And again, notice how. Do you see Brad? What's the slide say?
Is there an alpha storm?
What does it look like, Brad?
Alpha, but
It looks like it's raining the hell out of alpha. And ladies and gentlemen, our friends, believers in what we do, it's not just about the speculative art of just buying, selling, repeating, etc. Of course, we're working there with you, right? We're doing it. We're always doing that. But there's other different ways that we will help you to help us to help you. That's what I'm saying here right now. Okay? We want you, the people, to benefit from our IPO the way, Brad, you and I have discussed how people used to get screwed over in the .com days where it's like, hey, look, Netscape went up 100%. Not for you. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we are going to change things. That's what we are going to do. So there's 420 people at our thing right now. Okay, so all 420 people that are here right now, you can start your clock. That's what I'm saying. The cool thing is this: our technology goes way beyond fintech once it's ported out. So there is really potential for us to be the type of player that Microsoft was. Brad, I visualize that. You know how much I annoy you discussing those things.
Indeed.
But the people here should have a right to know, since they're listening to us, and then since they're taking their time going to the Q&A session and spending it with the CEO and COO, and we've never hidden our agenda. I'm just trying to say, guys, instead of going to the lenders and the loan sharks in the venture capital world and private equity, we're going to let you participate right away in the best technology that we believe exists on the planet in terms of data gathering and data processing. And I just said that. So think about you sitting here and listening to Bill Gates yelling at Paul Allen, because Paul Allen's, not paying attention, programming, whatever the hell Paul Allen does. Brad, I just made you Paul Allen.
I don't think it's programming.
Okay, definitely not programming. But You may know Scott's probably already launched a marketing campaign for it. He's that good. I'm guessing. I just got an email that says, do you want to participate in the Trade Ideas ICO? Scott, I've never seen anything faster. But that's what's coming. That's what's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, again, tick, tock, tick, tock. Brad, get your popcorn. Are you ready to start the show?
Let's do it.
Okay, so now that you want to be a shareholder potentially and start your clocks, and for those of you that are, thank you. We appreciate it. For those of you that aren't, here's how you do it. I'm not going to spend too much time other than it's super simple. And for the cost of lunch, you get artificial intelligence. Once you're subscribing, and even if you're not a subscriber, we of course have so many avenues for you to understand the data, get personal attention. We have our own media. We are a media company. We produce data. And we have people much like our own Peter. Wasn't Peter Jennings Canadian? Psst.
As a matter of fact, he was.
We have our own Peter Jennings. See, that looks a little much better now. We have our own Peter Jennings, Barry Anderson. Sweet voice, disposition. He had a firm hand like Thor. Managing that trading room, showing you the best practices, and showing you how people can individualize. You can do it our way. You can do it your way. So many different ways to do it. We're constantly giving you new ways to process our information all the time. Whether it's this and you guys listening to what I just told you about our IPO ICO, which by the way I came up with on the way over here to the office like 20 minutes before I got here. But that's happening. That's how that's the way I manage. Our podcast where we tell you more truth, exciting stuff happening. This is the best time ever to be in the stock market. And now, back to our regularly scheduled trading software programming. Let's do this. Okay. One of the things I wanted to show you, and Brad, this was really cool because I didn't remember this was added before our last software development meeting. You can now, or maybe I forgot, but you can now have a welcome screen with a toolbar. Very handy because again, this way you can keep an eye, for example, on all of the AIs, but still be looking at strategies and possibly looking at various things that you want to do. Searching. It gives you lots of ways to work with the data. The welcome screen is a great way to get started. Okay. Now, once you're on the welcome screen and the market has started, let's say the market, it's even pre-market, okay? We talked about the methodology, the systems-based approach. And I'm gonna get to this also. This is kind of another thing that you guys will get to see because of course, we always show you sort of the bread as we're baking it, Brad, I believe.
I think that's a good
This
analogy.
is new bread, right? We've lost bread, don't worry.
No,
Okay,
you didn't. I just said I think that's a good analogy.
Yeah, new bread. Pre-market, right here, you'll see everything that's up, everything that's down. We've made it easy for you to see this information without having to configure anything. Notice the software is going through all of the data by itself. Now you can then augment the channel surfing by doing different sorting. So now you're going through stocks which have the highest quarterly revenue growth in the pre-market gapping section. See, there's so many different ways you can view the data.
So by the way, guys, as you are surfing, if you just hover that mouse into the chart, it's going to go ahead and pause it for you while you do your analysis. And then when you move it away, it'll kind of continue what it was doing before.
This is a Tesla. The software was designed to drive with you, to drive, this is assisted market driving, okay? And I'm pretty sure we're the only ones that do it. So it switches everything for you. And as you know, we've discussed the concept of combining peak performance training with the best of speculative investing. Brad and I have tortured you for endless hours, telling you that one of the reasons that Tiger Woods is the best golfer in the world, or was, was that he's done a lot of reps. A lot of reps let you use this thing in the brain that's called myelin, I believe is the technical term, and you can Google it. And that myelin is, the more you do stuff, the more myelin there is, and that's how you remember things. So while I'm talking to you right now, your brain subconsciously is seeing setups and learning. You're doing what's called chart reps. And there is no better technology in the world than trade ideas for chart reps. Remember, ultimately, expertise is built on reps. And when you're in the zone, you're never thinking, right? So if you find yourself like looking at Snap, right? And going, I wonder if this swing exit is gonna hold. I wonder. Well, those are thoughts, and in the thought space, that's not how speculators make decisions. Much like golfing or surfing or shooting a basket or anything that gives you pleasure, the idea is not to be in your head, but to be in it. You use a feeling, you get a feel, and then you execute. Okay? And you get that feel through comfort of repetition. This is how we learn. So Trade Ideas has all these channels that are designed to predispose you to good information, even without you needing to know definitionally what it is. Your mind, your subconscious mind, knows so much more than you could ever. I'm sure if you use this magical thing called the internet and Google, you can look up things called the power of your subconscious mind. Everything that you see, you store as information. And right now, again, Brad, I kind of love the fact that I can really freestyle flow and the software is doing what it's doing. Look at this XBIO. Pause, because I'm like saying, look at this XBIO. I'm going to do two things that show you can assist the software to assist you. I'm going to like it because, well, shoot, Brad, this looks pretty interesting, doesn't it? Brad's probably on mute.
Yeah, big day today, grilled bar.
Big day. Now remember, we have perspective, so we can zoom out a little bit. It doesn't have a shortage of big days and many disappointments. Right, Brad?
Boy, that is the story it's telling for sure.
That's right. But we can keep an eye on it in lots of different ways. Remember, now it's being hearted. So when we're on this channel, we'll come back to it. We'll always be aware of what it's doing. Now you just won't miss it. Okay? But if I go here and go to the stock, remember, I just selected it. I know it's going to be here. I can really then say, all right, let me go back to January, all the way to the beginning of the year, and see if it can really break out of that. I'm going to call this Jan break. Notice, no thoughts like MACD equals this and heartbeat of Bollinger, pixel, tripod, vector, alpha, go. You don't need any of that. Just, you have to take a hunch, because ultimately there's no certainty. If you understand that in the financial markets there's zero certainty, you can freestyle with us like you were Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is the character that Patrick Swayze played in Point Break. He was really good up until he turned out to be the villain. Brad, do you remember that?
I do, but I couldn't tell you his name. That's great.
Well, you know, my autism works in mysterious ways. So before I even get to, quote unquote, the good stuff, we're going to talk about the fact that all this is already done for you. So often we get things that Jordan's talking about, you know, how do you add indicators to charts? But I will caution you here, dear friends, the more you are adding, the more mistakes you are likely to be making. Think on that. The more you are adding, the more mistakes you are likely to be making. You could do much better paying attention to Trade Ideas software that already knows everything that you could possibly know, but better. Notice, people ask us, Brad, is this thing good for swing trading? I do not know.
Now, there's some incredible opportunities that it presents itself, and like anything, it depends on what's happening on the day, the broader market, what's happening with that
But
stock.
notice, but the beauty is, and this is what I want to have people see in their minds. Do you understand that our software is an AI that has learned how to trade through the human inputs that we were able to put into it? We were able to translate all the things that you guys do, the technical analysis and the fundamental analysis and the momentum analysis and other kinds of analysis. But then we took it like 700 levels higher. We said, well, what if everybody was doing that? Well, then you have to do something different. That's where we went behind the curtain, took out our weaponized Goodwill Hunting CTO, cracked open his brain, and birthed some magic. And that's what you're seeing here. The reason I'm poetically trying to mesmerize you, and I am doing that, and I'm doing it for a reason, is because while all the while, and this is so common of the individual investor, to look for the thingy. Meanwhile, look at what's staring you in the face. It's already there. You already have everything. You already have it. So whether you're looking at small banks, oh, Brad, I don't just no, is this a good trade? You know I didn't know it was going to do that. Brad, are you photoshopping this?
No need. Every day there are great opportunities. And those opportunities, they're designed to be profitable at the end of the day. And it's really, the trader's decision as to whether you want to take a more risk and hold that thing.
Right. And notice how many companies in the financial markets are giving you meta data points for you to guide. So like today, this is your today stop. But if you're a longer term holder, this is your swing exit. Obviously, when it was here, it would have been like around here. So do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of working with you. It's like a lifeguard that's always on duty. Brad, will you patent that? There's no better feeling I can tell you as a entrepreneur, as a vendor. Okay, look at this chart right here. Okay, do you see what this is trying? Look at the navigation it's giving you. Do you feel confident that, and obviously you can understand that I'm not doing anything magical here. All of these things are in here for you. Brad, what is it telling you about Signature Bank?
Yeah, so the expectations and the risk management is really laid out in front of you visually here. We provide a couple of different stops on here, a couple of different exits on here to show you what your expectations are should the stock kind of go against you. And we give you an intraday signal and a smart stop, which is an algorithm based on that stock and based on its particular volatility, its range for the day, and its relative volume. So those components come together to give a very unique intraday stop, point of resistance or point of support for that particular security. And then we also take a longer term approach and give you what our swing exit would be if you were to take a longer term, higher risk approach to holding that position.
Everything is done. And by the way, again, I was just pointing out that this number right here, this is the daily candle. That's what it looks like during the day. Okay. That's what your smart stop looked like. So now comes the fun part. Okay. Our original artificial intelligence, Holly, I really have to tell you, and again, it's kind of funny, Brad, because obviously I don't really believe that it can be that way. But it's almost like when we brought out the new kids, her feelings were a little hurt. And I've said this before. And she was like, F you, Daddy. I'm going to put on a show for you and show you that I still got it. Because
fear is a great motivator too. And
as a proud parent, I'm saying this because, we've been watching we're like Brad and I are like the two wait, no, we're not two she's like a kid and we're the obsessive parents coaching the kid, right? During work hours. And we have not seen her perform at the level that she's performing now before we splitted her. That's not a real word, but my son says that. Do you agree, Brad?
Yep, absolutely. I do.
And I have no idea why that happened other than the market likes us. Let me tell you what I mean, I want to give you guys a little bit of philosophy here. Remember, you're at it, you're talking about where is this, what is that, how do you, what. And we talk about the fact that you have everything. And what we mean by that is, look, now you have 3 channels that are giving you signals by the best equities trader in the world. Yes, this computer is the best equities trader in the world. And the idea is simply, how do you follow it? And we've talked about that again, kind of at length. Get in, get out. It's all visual. You will make mistakes. There's no question about that. But of course, you will also get into here. Hit your target. Maybe sell half if you want, and then the thing runs all day.
You know, it's really all about trade management, right? I mean, you presented these signals, but when something goes against you, you don't find yourself floundering in it. You do what you need to do. You cut it, you get out, you move on.
And all visually. You're not making these decisions blind, that Vlad's saying. They're all visually marked for you, okay? Something that I want to show, like, for example, something like this can happen, where, and I'll just give you let me expand this. See, you get in here, okay? This was your entry. You get stopped out, and nothing happens, but I'm going to pretend that this is an hour, Brad, right? And then all of a sudden you come here. What do? Well, that's your signal again. You have, depending on your risk, like, ability and your account size, that's when you say, well, you know, I'm going to get back in. That's going back, risk on. That's how you get the risk on profit. You re-enter.
And that's also, Dan,
that happens. But in the long run, approaching this systematically like we do, you will destroy all expectations that you could possibly have of anything that you thought was possible in the stock market. This is the future. Every single person who has capital will want access to this technology, because there is no better way to speculate. There is no better way to speculate, let me repeat. So going back, Brad, in summary, we have 3 AIs, 3 analysts, 3 gurus, 3 friends, 3 teachers, 3 best buddies for you to follow. These best buddies never get older, they never die, they never poop, they never get tired, and they never hold emotional baggage. They never raise up their hands in victory, and they never slam the table in defeat. That's who you want to follow. That's what we do. That's why we're changing all of finance. I would not be surprised, and I'm just saying this, if Trade Ideas became bigger than Bloomberg because of what we do. And you're just hearing it here first in the penny stock phase. And that's why I'm saying, guys, what you heard before, our subscribers are going to get a chance to participate. Tell your friends. Is it easy? No. But are we going to reward you? Hell yeah. Brad, I don't know what else I can say.
Well, you know, this is not even a standout day, really. It's pretty consistent. It's been like this, you know, day after day since, like you said, since we did release the 3 AIs. Right. And by the way, you guys want to make sure that you download the latest beta to get access to those 3 different AIs if you haven't already done so.
Let me do one more thing, just again for quick, you know, Bread entertainment. So there's this gear here that you can press, and you can say edit channels, and this will go away. But when you add channels here, you can now see a little bit of our customized screen. You can have pictures that you put on. We have some stuff that you can use, but of course you'll be able to add your own as well. Input, upload image. But we have some cool stuff here. So that's what it's going to look like. The idea here is customize your channel bar. So everyone will be able to have a very personal experience. And remember, we talked about the single sign-on that's coming, so the software will follow you and will be able to alert you on mobile, like what's going on, and you can participate with it. And before the year ends, and this is where it's going to go crazy and why you should be a subscriber now, we're going to have full automated trading with this. So the rush for a subscription to this will be so overwhelming that we may literally put a stop on it. And I'm not saying that to be like all geeky and like, oh, we're so good. It's just that at some point, Brad, right, you could be overwhelmed by capacity, and you have to, hey, to make sure people don't suffer, let's pause. We would do that in a heartbeat, right, Brad?
Yeah, no question. I think it's really proportional to the strategies we have, the number of people on it, and so we want to make sure that we maintain a good ratio in that regard.
Yeah. So that's what's happening, guys. I mean, you're fire away if there's any questions. If not, we can certainly say through the concluding elements of the presentation. But I feel like you've gotten more than you could almost ever want. Are there any questions that Brad or anyone else has not answered?
So while guys are typing those, if there are any, I do want to add with respect to the AI window that you're showing, and you previously kind of showed the price alerts. It's really that those two are really a very solid 1-2 punch combination when things are happening. You know, the AI is generating these results because it's finding some type of footprint, some type of activity that's interesting and out of the norm for it. And in the market, it's a dynamic space, and things don't always happen right at the exact moment that someone would predict something. That's just not the way that it works. But we're spotting these interesting opportunities, and having watched these ideas being generated over the last couple years from the AI, I've definitely seen the fact that any type of instant move can happen out of these signals once they're called.
Fantastic stuff. I really could not have ever imagined it being so amazing.
So we do have, I wouldn't say mobile, but we do have a web version of the software. It can be clunkily pulled up on your phone or your iPad. So we do have that. Right now, at present, there's just a single AI in the web version, but we're working on bringing the 3 different AIs to functionality.
And of course, we're also working on the SMS messaging, where the AI signals can come to you maybe in email form, in SMS form, etc. Lots of different things.
We expect to have the customizable channel bar out next week. That's our ETA for it.
Yeah, and it probably will change appearances. Again, we do a lot of stuff where we play around with things, and so you get to see that as it's happening. It's almost like you're seeing how we develop in real time. So let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so I love the fact that we got to the point, and we can make it a little bit shorter. Want to make sure you guys understand that this is one of the more important things about the market is really understanding that complacency is the thing that destroys accounts. You start thinking it's never going to go down, you will have problems. It will. It always does. And that's why we invented the AI, because if you're following it, it will be short. It cannot not do what the market is doing. That's why we have this potential to be the biggest company in fintech. Very excited about that. And this Trade Ideas ebook is a good way to get yourself acquainted. Here are all of our contact points. At Trade Ideas 1 on Twitter, a very, very not safe for work kind of Twitter feed, but our corporate feed is at Trade Ideas 1 right there. Please like us on Facebook, /Trade Ideas Pro, and here's our general contact information. Scott, is there anything I'm missing?
I think you got it. Thank you. We'll have a recording up later on tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thanks,
I
all.
appreciate it.